Do I have to do this again? Don't tell me. No, not yet. Okay, you guys, we are live on Design Your Life by Ruby Bhandari. So excited to have you guys here once again. And I've got Mona and Vishali with me.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
And what we would like is for, as we are speaking, we want you guys to comment. We want you guys to ask questions. Mona, you got to turn that down. And, you know, really interact with us, because both of these women are very, very special. They are both mothers. They are Indian women here in our community. They have experienced COVID. They are looking forward to going back to work. And we really want everyone to kind of go through this with us and see how we can all make our lives better together. So, you know, today we're here to talk about things that we can do for ourselves. You know, all of us are busy being mothers. And I'll tell you that I am so busy here at Silk Threads, but when I shut it down and I went home, I was so busy being a mother and a housewife and a maid. And I was so exhausted. I couldn't figure out why I was so tired. At night, I would be mentally gone. And I was like, wow, there was a day of nothing, feeding my kids, doing housework, and I did nothing for myself. So you know what? While we have a little bit of break, some of you are going back to work, some of you are not. This is the time we have to learn to take care of ourselves. So in the process of learning to take care of ourselves, we have to do certain things. You know, even if you are going back to work, things are hopefully going to be a little bit slow. So as we are gradually getting into normal COVID life as we know it now, there are a few things which I looked up, which I did, and I thought that others should do it too. Like, for example, you know, you should write a list. Every day you should have a list of things to do, because you can't do everything at one time in one day. So my list comprised of, okay, I was going to make chole. Everybody knows I make chole. I was going to make chole for my kids.
The best. I'm sure Ruby's learned new things now.
I have. I learned some things. We have to discuss that. We're going to exchange some recipes.
Yes.
But I'm going to make this for tomorrow. And it's the only thing I'm going to make. And everything else in the refrigerator is what the kids are going to eat for the rest of the day. And I'm going to clean one bathroom today. Then, you know, I need time for myself. And I've realized I love to dance. I love to do puzzles. I love to play board games. These are things that I never get to do. So you know what? I physically put it on my list that today we're going to play Uno. Then tomorrow I have it on my list. Raj has to teach me how to stream my cell phone onto the television so that I can watch Bollywood songs and I can actually learn some dance moves. So these are things that we never have time to do.
I think you have to teach us. Well, we don't have to learn. You have to teach us. Give us classes.
So the idea is that I should learn it, and then I'm going to teach it to you guys, just so that we can do things that are different, things that don't have to do with our loving families. I'm going to read a couple of things that I learned. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier than usual. This is our chance to sleep. I mean, I sleep like at 3 in the morning. I get like 6 hours of sleep, 5.5 hours, 5 hours and 42 minutes. Now I slept. I really took the time to sleep. So either sleep early, sleep at 10 o'clock. There's nothing going on Saturday night, guys. Sleep at 10 o'clock. Just go to bed. You know, watch the movies you haven't seen. The best thing I've seen is this relaxing green tea. I love it. It's by Yogi. I do that relaxing tea.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that.
I do that. And
I have that every day. Yes.
Then get off all of your electronics, read a magazine. It relaxes you.
Yes.
Go to bed and don't wake up until 10 or 11 if you don't have to. Your kids will get used to it. They really, I promise they will.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Yes.
I wake up at 11:30, so they're used to it. Yes.
And if you have to go to work a little bit early, now things have changed and you have to go to work, sleep earlier. There's nothing going on at 9 o'clock, you guys. Go to bed. You're not missing any social activities. You're not missing anything. The only thing that is very, very important, and we discussed this last week with Dr. Mehta, you have to make sure that you're socializing. So you got to get Zoom. You got to get the house party app. You have to do these sort of things for yourself. You got to talk to your girlfriends, because you know what? If you don't talk to your girlfriends, you're not talking to your guy friends, because you guys are not going out. Got to get that beer or that, you know, that drink that you love to drink and just talk. You just want to talk girl stuff. It's fun. It's really, really fun. What are you doing, Monica?
And I think,
Mona?
you know what? I remember she was saying about, having a routine for yourself, Dr. Mehta, in your last
Very
interview,
important.
which I think is very important. I know it's very hard to have a routine because we are sometimes all over the place now. I mean, none of us are working, and especially people who have to go out to work. It's difficult for them to have a routine.
Yeah, well, you used to work every day.
Yeah, mine is a retail business. I have to actually go out and work. So, to have a routine is difficult. But I think the routine part, what she said was amazing, I think that really works because I have a routine for myself. And another thing she said, spoke about is having a spiritual connection, which I'm sure a lot of people have their own spiritual connection, which is beautiful and amazing. And again, thank you, Ruby, for having me and Vishali here.
Yes.
We are going to talk about our spiritual connection, what I got benefit with, my experience, because I think having a spiritual connection is something which is, it's you actually learn about yourself.
Yeah.
What you actually, which probably in the busy world, when you are normally doing your everyday activity, when life is busy, you hardly give time for yourself. As Ruby said, we have the time, God has given us the time, so use it and have that spiritual connection, because that is what is going to be with you always.
So this is the first time in our lives from the day we were born, whether you are a child today or you are 90 years old, this is the first time in all of our lives that time literally stopped. And it's just gradually about to start, or it is starting.
Yeah.
And this is the time when things are slow, things are new. We are in the COVID society, and we actually are. This is a new world where we have to wear masks to protect others. We have to keep washing and sanitizing our hands. We have to be as sanitary as possible. I mean, I wash my oranges with soap and water now before I let it go into my bowl. So this is the first time. This is a new experience. There is no book on this. There is no expertise on this.
Yes.
Exactly.
Everybody has their own way of doing it. Yeah.
And so this is the time. And life has been so fast and so busy, and God just said stop. And we have.
It's like a pause, pause. Like Earth is on maintenance right now.
Yep.
So give Earth a break.
Earth needs a break, and our bodies need a break.
Yeah.
Our minds, our souls need a break.
Yeah.
And so now is the time for us to learn about ourselves. We run like rats. It's a rat race. And in this race, we forget who we are, what we're made of, why we are on this earth to live, and what is our purpose. So I think that, Vishali, you are you said not to call you an expert, but you're an expert.
Oh, she is.
No,
Definitely.
In this practice, it's called Buddhism, you guys. It's what is Buddhism, and why is everybody doing it?
There's one more thing I want to add before Vishali.
Yes.
Is, right now, we as women, our responsibility has really increased. Husbands are home, working from home, kids are home. The only people they interact is us. So we have to keep our life condition high. We can't oh my God, we can't keep our life condition low, because that reflects on them. We have to manage our husbands. They are working from home. It's not easy to work from home. I have a friend who, she was telling me that my husband now works 20 hours. He only sleeps 4 hours. So I really have to support him, make sure he's eating. I mean, it's like literally you have to take care of your family like a baby, right now, because they're dependent on us. And they're not meeting their friends. They're not meeting anybody. So I think we as a woman, as a mother, we have to keep our life condition high. So that is why we are going to share our practice, what keeps my life condition high and what keeps Vaishali's life condition high.
And those of you who are not married and you don't have kids, well, lucky you.
I know.
Lucky you, because this is an easy opportunity for you guys to take a break and learn about yourselves before you get into the relationship, before you have a full family. So important. So you know what? Let's start. Vishali, what is Buddhism?
So there are various schools of Buddhism, actually. And what we practice is Nichiren Buddhism. And
Nichiren Buddhism.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And most of our viewers, I'm sure, know that Buddhism originated in India. It was started by Gautam Buddha, who was born in a princely family. And he was really protected. It's only when he went out of his fort did he realize there's so much of suffering in this world. And that's when he started his quest, is how do I break from the suffering of life and death and cycle which keeps repeating. And after an extensive meditative life or whatever, he basically, last 8 years of his life, he propagated something called Lotus Sutra.
Lotus Sutra.
Yeah.
Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
And in a gist, of course, it's an ocean. I can't explain the depth of it, but I can tell you just in a couple of lines that it basically tells you that you can overcome these, whatever issues you have in this lifetime. Again, some of the Buddhist schools who say you have to keep taking, rebirth after rebirth to overcome the karmic cycle. Nichiren Buddhism tells you you can break the karmic cycle in this very birth. So that's the gist of this particular Buddhism.
Okay.
And then the Buddhism faded. It kind of died, in India, and it had been spread to Far East, but it sort of started dying down, at least in India.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1300th century, a Japanese monk by the name of Nichiren, he kind of resurrected this Buddhism again. Japan at that time was war-torn. They had famine, they had drought. There was just, real unhappiness everywhere. And out of his own compassion, he was like, I need to do something. He studied a lot of treatises, Buddhist treatises, and he discovered that Lotus Sutra is the highest teaching of all teachings, which, because it's full of empathy, it's full of humanity. It's how do you elevate not just yourself, but others to overcome their suffering. And today, in 1930, Soka Gakkai International, it's a properly a formal organization that was established in Japan initially. Now we are in 192 countries, and we have over 12 million people practicing this Buddhism.
So Buddhism, what is Buddhism? Buddhism is a practice to make you happy from inside.
That's right.
I think we all thought we were happy. A lot of us did. And then when we were back on this down, when we were stuck at home, there are many people who are not happy. There was a lot of anxiety at home, a lot of stress because you keep seeing the same people. And, with Buddhism, I think that people who are practicing or who have just started practicing or have been practicing for a long time, they have actually learned to contain all of this and learn to be happy from inside. And that if you're happy from inside, you spread happiness. So that is very, very important. And that is why I love what this practice does.
Yes. So it's not that, your problems are just going to evaporate. No, the problem exists and they will continue to exist. But what will happen is you will see a paradigm shift as you start practicing, where you will have the inner strength to tackle these problems. You'll have the life energy to be able to face the problems headlong without getting submerged. You're no more sort of just gasping for breath because that's how it feels when you're really surrounded by so many issues. There are times when you feel like, where do I look? How do I go? Where do I even find the solution? But with this Buddhism, you will see, I'm not saying you won't see the problems resolved. You will see tangible results, like many people have manifested what they wanted to manifest. But there is something called inconspicuous benefit, which is your life condition is elevated. If you practice consistently, this is not some magic voodoo. You have to put in the hard work. You have to be consistent with your practice, but you will see a shift. I promise you that. I saw that. I've experienced it. Mona has experienced
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have 12 million people who have experienced
and once
it.
12 million.
Once I think we talk about our experience, you guys will know. And again, this is not a religion that we're trying to say. This is, we follow our own religion. I'm a Jain, so I'm strongly follow my religion. She's a Hindu. She follows. So this is just a way of life.
That's right.
I like something that you had written for us. This philosophy essentially believes that each individual has inherent capabilities and wisdom to overcome any kind of problems, would it be financial, health, relationship issues, or any other problem.
That's right.
I love that. I love the effort. I think that this is the key to Buddhism and why people are practicing.
Yes.
So, one of the mottos we follow is the worldly desires lead to enlightenment, which I think is amazing. Because quite a few religions teach you to be detached, which I have no idea how to be detached.
Yep. And not have worldly pleasures.
No, that's right.
But you need to have worldly pleasures.
But it is not in our philosophy.
Yeah, it is not in Buddhism. We say desire what you want. You can, I may want a car, I may want a house, I may want a job. It doesn't really matter what I want. I can chant for it. And there's no guilt. There's absolutely no guilt chanting for what you want. But you will see that as your practice increases, as you as you sort of elevate your practice, you yourself will realize that the material desires only serve so much. But it's very organic. Nobody's forcing it down your throat that, today just stop desiring things. But it's a gradual progress.
You know what I want to know is why? Why did you get into the practice? What happened? How did you get introduced, or what was the
driving factor?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Start, Vishali?
Yeah, I can start. So it was, in 2006, I think, or 7, I had lost, just a little before that, I had lost 2 immediate members of my family, my pillars. And I was devastated. I honestly felt like I was in a chamber with no gas, like no air. I almost felt like breathless. That's how it felt. Like I didn't know where to look and how do I even cope with my life? And the emotional suffering was way too heavy for me. I had put on 20 kgs. I went into a massive depression. It was like a complete downward spiral, nosedive. That's how I see it. It was just dark for me everywhere. And I didn't look after myself. I just let go. I used to dress up like as if I'm homeless. And I was not. I was staying
like we're dressing up now during COVID-19, dressing up like we're homeless.
Yeah, something like that. But out of depression. And I can quote you an incident. I was living in this really nice, beautiful condo in Toronto, and I had to go down to the lobby. I remember someone wishing me in the elevator, "Hey, have a great day." And I was like, "You have a great day. I'm having a bloody horrible day right now." because my life condition was so bad that no matter what anyone said to me or did, greeted me, just nothing would penetrate. I was just in this dark hole. That's when a friend of my friend's mother actually tried to introduce me to this Buddhism. But believe you me, I was in such a bad place that I was not receptive. I was like, whatever, I'll deal with my life. But of course I couldn't. It just kept continuing, my depression. Fast forward, I moved to Dallas in 2009, like middle of 2009. And again, my son's friend's mother, a very dear friend of mine, Ruby Bhandari, she introduced me to this Buddhism again. And I really took onto it because to me, the universe was talking to me. It's coming back to me.
Here in Dallas.
In Dallas.
Our Paru.
Yeah. Yes.
She practices.
Yeah, she's
wow.
amazing.
I'm telling you, everybody's doing this.
Awesome. I hope Shaira's into. Shaira, I hope you're into. And Vishali, thank you. So Vishali Kapadia practices too, and there she is. Yeah.
Vishali, we had no idea.
Oh my God, she's awesome. Vishali,
Nishat, if you're still on, I'm looking at your comment, and yes,
yeah,
so true, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Paru.
There she is.
And Ashraf, we're missing you.
I know we're missing you, Ashraf. Seriously. Yeah.
So Paru introduced me, and I went for my first meeting. And I absolutely loved the energy. I loved the people. I just found it so positive. I almost thought they want some weed. Like, why is everybody so happy? Like,
it's definitely not weed.
So happy. Like, why am I not so happy? Whatever. And then I just sort of continued. And they just told me one thing, which I'm very grateful to the leaders who basically told me, give it a shot for 1 month. If you feel like this is not for you, don't even bother. And I saw a paradigm shift in my life within a week. Within a week.
Wow.
But I was sincere. I didn't have my Gohanzen, which is what we pray to, but I had a card, Namyo Horengekyo card. And I would just look at the card and literally for 5 minutes in the morning and evening.
So you would look at the card for 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening.
And I was focused on what I wanted, know, and all I wanted was some peace. And I really could see.
So this is the way to shift your state of mind.
And it's so organic. It just happens from inside.
So, one thing I'm very curious about is that I am not the most religious, and I'm not the most, I would like to have inner peace, and I would love to do all this stuff, but I am so active and I'm so crazy.
You're
for me,
happy-go-lucky person.
Yeah, when I feel like I need something, it's like, let's go shopping, guys. Let's get a coffee.
And there's nothing wrong. That's perfect.
Because in our religion, that's what it is all about.
It's a very active religion.
It's very active.
Not a passive
It's
practice.
not that you have to sit down and meditate or leave all the worldly things. No, I want a car. I'm going to chant for it, and you get a car tomorrow. I want a great job. I want my situation to get better, and that's what this practice is all about. It's about achieving your goals, whether it's materialistic or not. Of course, once you get into this practice deep, you realize that the materialistic things are not that important, which is fine. Initially we all are human beings. We are not Buddha. So we can't say that we don't need materialistic things. We do need.
I mean, we have actors chanting for it.
Yeah,
well, I like the fact that you can
Ayush.
chant for stuff, because I want some new diamond earrings. So I'm going to chant for some.
Oh yeah,
and you make us find it.
find them. Yes.
So somebody may gift it to you. Whatever.
Yeah. Now, Mona, I have known you for a long time, and I am very curious to know how you got into this, and is anybody else in your family doing this?
So there was a time in my life where, again, I was in a very dark place, just like Vishali, and very dark place. My mom battled cancer, and as she was recovering, within a few months, my dad passed away very young.
Wow.
And my brother was having health issues.
So I was having family,
basically entire family, and these are my immediate family. Of course, I have my husband and my in-laws, but my immediate family are just my brother and my mom. And I'm a person who I can handle stress, but to some extent I can't. So obviously, seeing the most important people in my life, my mom, my brother, I was totally devastated and I was shattered. And me in the US and they are in India, so that didn't work either, because how much you can't give, how much support can you give your mom when you're
in a different country?
Mm-hmm. And just seeing her miserable, seeing my brother who couldn't support my mom because of his health condition, and obviously myself, I was like totally torn. So at that time, I was introduced to this practice. Actually, my sister-in-law Neha, she told me about the practice, but then I got formally introduced. But again, just like Vishali, I didn't take it seriously. I was like, what the hell? Nothing is working. My dad died. He's not going to come back with this practice, will he? My mom is suffering cancer, and she's so vulnerable right now that just in few months, my dad passed away, and I don't know how she's going to take it. I'm not going to chant. I'm not going to take this practice up. But, so I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then as a few weeks passed, things were not getting better. I saw, seeing my mom again, and she was getting into that hole. Brother couldn't, manage. He's younger, so he couldn't manage the family. And I was like, oh my God. So I think this desperate needs, I just said, okay, fine, let me just take up this practice and let me start chanting and see if it works. Because I need a shift in my life and in my mother's life, my family's life. And then there I started practicing, and in a few weeks time, I saw something inside me actually changing. I had that ability to cope with the stress. Earlier I was overwhelmed. I would cry for everything. Oh my God, what if something happens to my mom? My dad's already gone. What if something happens to my mom? I'm so far away. What if my brother, he doesn't do anything for her? What if this? So it's like a never-ending story in your head. But when I took up this practice, I actually stopped thinking. My negativity kind of stopped, and I started taking responsibility of my own actions, my own power of thinking. So that kind of gave me a little hope that, wow, there is something in it. There is something. I don't know what it is, but let me just continue with it.
What were you doing exactly?
So I was chanting. Basically, I was chanting for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Nam Yaho Rengekyu is
you
what
would
I
just
was chanting.
Take 10 minutes for yourself,
yes,
and you would chant.
And then just say to myself that I want to see my mother happy, and myself happy, and my brother happy. So my family happy. Obviously, because of them, I was not taking care of my son and my husband here. So everything was falling apart. So then a few months passed, and I started chanting more and more, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then I saw a big shift in my mom's life. She started taking action, taking responsibility of her own life. She started, communicating with her friends. She started
were chanting for mom.
Which you can do in this practice.
You can chant
for others.
That
is the most beautiful thing that you can chant. So my brother getting better, he taking care of my mom, taking the responsibility. So seeing that, I got better. I was like, okay, fine. Now I need to take care of my family. I've really neglected them. I need to take care of my family. So I said, I'll take this as a stride, as a goal. Let me chant for a month, and I really need to see a big change in our lives. And after a month, I actually set a date and actually saw that big change in my mom's and brother's life and in my life. Gave me a lot of direction, because I was deadlocked. There was like darkness everywhere. I didn't know where to go. All paths were closed. So this is the practice. It gave me a lot of courage, a lot of wisdom, to fight against my own weakness. So, so basically, Vaishali, do we want to say about the tendencies?
Yeah. So, inherently we all have tendencies. It could be, inherent anger, it could be depression, it could be anxiety, just greed. I mean, whatever, we all have tendencies. And we're not aware of those tendencies because they're so damn subtle. Most of the time, they're so subtle, we don't even know. And when a situation arises, which normally does in everyday life, we react as per our tendencies. You don't even think it's a reflex action.
Yes.
But when you start chanting, what it does, the analogy I'll give you is like, imagine you have a mirror which is full of dust, like a thick layer of dust. But now I'm wiping off that dust and I see a very clear reflection. So what I see is a very clear reflection of my good, bad, and ugly. I'm aware, I'm getting sensitized towards my own tendencies. It's almost like getting a 360-degree view. I mean, it's a very hard, you really have to experience it. I know it's kind of hard, it may sound like,
and believe it or not, Ruby, she has seen the worst part of her life, herself, not life.
Yeah, no, I did. I mean,
and I have seen the worst part that, oh, I actually have this weakness in me. I have this demon inside me, which I didn't know. And that's what I'm reflecting out.
Yeah. You sort of get aware, but once you are aware, then you own it. You have to own it because it's like literally speaking to you.
Yes, I think that a lot of people have a hard time owning up to their own responsibilities, their own problems. They just want to brush it away or blame somebody else and not solve it. It just sort of sounds like they are, and a lot of people do this. You just brush it off and you're not solving your problem. So, if you are having a hard time solving your problem, or you are having a hard time accepting what your life is, then I think this is a good thing to turn to try. And you can just try. It took Vaishali, you said 1 week. It took you just a couple of weeks to realize and see the difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
See that you are paying attention to your own self. Yeah. And they say we have never been able to achieve the full power of what our mind and body and our soul can do.
Very true.
Very true. Oh my God, you said that so well, Ruby.
That is so true.
And this is the way. This is one of the ways I think that people who are having a hard time can actually bring that power out.
Yes, and when you have chanting, the power.
Every individual without faith.
The fact that we all have the power to reach our goals. It's not that, oh, I'm bad luck, or my time is not good. Okay, fine, whatever everybody believes in. But I think everybody has the power of achieving their goals. And
but I think it's important to talk. We call that human revolution, which is overcoming your tendencies.
Yes, and one of our tendencies, we think at Indian / Pakistani, all South Asians, we believe in nazar, meaning evil eyes. So a lot of people believe in evil eyes, and that's when you think about it, you realize how strong people's eyes and their minds are. If they're looking at you negatively, they are bringing you negativity. And there are people who say, "Oh no, I don't believe it." Oh yes. That's what people do. They look at you and they can bring you negativity if they think badly about you or negatively about you. And when you're chanting, you actually have the power. You are learning to be the power to block that negativity, become more positive, and deal with your life situations.
One of the things people will experience when they chant is, of course, you see your tendencies, but you'll also have this, I think, everybody has this surge of empathy, which we all have it inherently in us, but it just brings out that level of, I can say, Buddhahood, what you can call it, godliness, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. But your level of sensitization and empathy substantially, I think, increases, and you're just nicer towards other people. You're nicer towards yourself. Your environment changes because you change.
Well, I have a personal experience. So my own sister-in-law, my husband's sister, she had a very, very bad situation where she and her family had lost everything. And my brother-in-law had actually gone into depression. My sister-in-law, a very, very strong woman, one of the strongest women I have ever met. She looked like she was going to break and she was going to have a nervous breakdown. And I have never seen her in all my life in that situation. And all of a sudden, one fine day, she seemed fine. She was getting her life back together. She was gathering all the pieces, helping her husband, her children. Her son was about to get married. And she kept talking about Buddhism. And I was like, Buddhism, we're Sikh Punjabi. Why was she practicing Buddhism? We're going to have her son's wedding in a gurdwara. in an Indian temple. So this was very weird to me, but I could see a difference in her attitude and the way she spoke. Even the way, I mean, she was always nice to me, but even the way she treated me was so incredible. And she became like a magnet. And now our relationship is much better than I could ever imagine, because she's, I mean, I'm so attracted to her and her positivity.
There you go. Oh my God, Ruby,
Yes.
it's amazing.
It's very amazing. And
Yeah.
I never thought that I would.
I never heard the story from you
Yes.
before. Wow, nice.
And I did not know Mona.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I didn't know Mona was doing this Buddhism, because every time we would come to pick her up, she would say, I have to go pray. And I was like, this Janie girl is crazy. I did not know what she was doing, but I am so attracted to Mona Jane. She has a beautiful jewelry business, and she's such a lovely person. And everything that comes out of her mouth is so positive, and it's so nice. And I'm very sure that the practice has something to do with it.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I love my practice, and I'm just so enjoying it, especially during this time. You know, when you wake up in the morning, you read the news, so many deaths, you know, nothing's are opening, but still everything is uncertain. You still hear the virus spreading. I mean, you have to keep your life condition high. And I think studying about it, reading about it, and we're so connected with our SGI group that we meet every week. You know, it's like a spark it gives you. That.
So where do you guys meet?
Now on Zoom.
Now on Zoom.
Oh, now on Zoom. Now on Zoom. But where were you meeting before that? I know there's a center or something.
So we have a center, and every area has their own chapter.
Okay, you have different chapters.
So we have like
okay.
South Plano chapter, Mona and I.
Okay, so there's a South Plano chapter. I know there's one in North Dallas as well.
Everywhere.
Yes, I think
over.
when my sister-in-law came, she had gone there.
You have chapters
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay.
And there's no God. It's not idol worship. It's basically
We don't worship to an idol or to a deity. We worship to something called the Kohanzen, and that's really a
Yourself.
scroll. It represents 10 worlds that a human mind travels through, from the world of animality to the world of Buddhahood. We all are sort of fluctuating between these worlds, but they're again at a very subtle level, and we sometimes don't even know that. But as you start chanting, literally you start, it's almost like every cell of your body is getting sensitized. You're just so sensitive towards yourself, towards other people, what's happening, just about everything. Your mind is extremely sensitive by now.
What kind of Buddhist practices can help improve self-esteem?
This too.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God, this one.
Yeah, we've had, self-esteem is huge. One of
I think
of depression
our experiences, I think said it just now, where Shali went through, that I went through a kind of a mental drain.
Totally.
That is losing kind of your self-esteem. And I think this practice kind of elevates you. Your life condition goes higher and higher.
Yeah. You start appreciating your life.
Oh my God, so much gratitude you give to life. Like we could have been in a worse situation today. We at least have a home, we have food to eat, but there are people who have no food to eat. So I think a lot of gratitude comes out of this practice, and your life condition increases.
Yes, attitude of gratitude, like Monica said last week. We have, can you discuss your challenge with mentors and get guidance, which is a big part of this practice?
Yes.
That really helps you combat your negative tendencies. So let's talk about this.
So, in a conventional sense, we don't have a guru or a priest, but we have, because we're not looking up for him to resolve our problems. We have to resolve our own problems. We own our problems and we resolve our problems. The way we do it is we take guidance from his teachings, which are written and which are also lectures. But it's not like somebody is imposing it on us. It's very different, because I'm born in a Hindu family, and if I go to a temple or whatever, it's sort of like a lecture, but this is not a lecture. This is more like teachings, and you have to apply that in your life, whatever you read. And once you understand, you don't deviate, you don't start forming your own theories of Buddhism, which can happen. You can just start thinking, oh, I think this is what is right and this is what is wrong, or whatever. But once you sort of have that, you follow the teachings, then you sort of have formed a very strong bond with your mentor, and who's a guide to me and to all of us, I think. And
yes,
it helps you to not astray. You are going on the right track. It's more like somebody checking that you continue on the right path.
For a few of you that just got on, we're discussing Buddhism and how it can help you during the COVID times. This is a practice that many people are doing. A lot of people are getting into. It's been very, very popular. Just lately, I'm hearing so much, and that's why we have these two lovely ladies, Mona and Vaishali, on to talk to us about what Buddhism is and how it can help us just teach ourselves, about the fact that we are not limited, to sense our heart and our soul, and how we can make our lives better during these times. So Vaishali, I have more questions for you. Can you guys ask some questions? If you have questions about Buddhism, or you have questions about self-care, or you have any comments about what you've been doing, I want to know what you guys have been doing all these weeks that's different than what you were doing when you're going to work. And if you don't work and you are a mom at home, what it's like to have your kids at home every single day, every minute, not being able to go out and play with their friends to give you even a 2-minute break. So if you have questions or comments, I would love to hear them. Talk to me, you guys, about the current situation of the practice. What's happening? I know you guys are on Zoom, doing Zoom. What do you guys talk about? What are you doing?
So as far as COVID-19 is concerned, we of course connect with our members every week, not every week, once a week for study, and once a week for a discussion meeting. So we are meeting at least once in fortnight. We study, our Buddhist magazine, which is called Living Buddhism, and we study a chapter from there. And there's a lot of material online which we will share with you, the website. And we just discussed that particular topic. I'll give you an example. So last month, we studied how your environment is a reflection of you.
How your environment is a reflection of you. Okay, right. That's very important.
Yeah. So in the Buddhist philosophy, your life and your environment are interconnected. Everybody is interconnected. Every life is interconnected, and every life is interconnected with the environment as well. But as far as COVID-19 is concerned, I think it's very important to understand is your environment is a reflection of you. So if I have not respected the environment, if I am deforesting, if I am sort of just going greedy over, extracting from Mother Earth, beyond what I need, the earth is going to revolt. You will see that it is going to, and we really think COVID-19 is one of those causes. We have not kept in check the human greed. We have not kept in check our foolish tendencies. So again, we're coming back to the tendencies. So we may have a lot of these green revolution and this revolution and that revolution, but till you don't have your human revolution, till you don't understand your tendencies and overcome them, you are going to reflect exactly the same in your environment. And your environment is going to reflect the same thing to you. It's like a mirror. You're mirroring.
Well, I'll just tell you a very shallow example of people buying toilet paper and finishing it off. Yeah. I mean, that's just a very shallow example, but who needs 20 rolls of toilet paper all at once in your cart? I mean, that is just ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you take what you need and you have to be considerate to others.
But as Mona said, when you chant, it will calm you. Yeah. I mean, everybody's stressed. People are stressed about their jobs. People have lost jobs. People are lining up in food banks. People don't have food to eat today. A lot of people. They may be in their Mercedes, but they're still lining up at the food bank, which is so strange. I mean, strange in a sense, it's, it just shows what's happening in the world. But when you do start chanting, it first of all calms you down. It takes the anxiety away to a large extent. Once your anxiety is away, you can focus. You can focus on
it gives you the clarity, I think, to do the right
and the hope,
thing.
And the hope.
And the hope.
You see a ray of hope in a complete darkness. And I think we can say that with
of our experience. We have experienced it. I was in that dark place where I didn't see any light for months. So,
And I for years. It was like just going spiral,
Everything was just falling apart. And I think that's what, even now today, I think because of my chanting, because of my practice, that I'm actually keeping my life condition high at home. It's so nice. And I'm seeing everybody, oh wow, it's so nice to have my husband home and, not going to work, my son's home, and I'm cooking for them, trying new recipes, which I'm sure everybody is doing that right now. And, seeing all these nice TikToks and Facebooks, actually it's entertaining us. Thank you very much actually for that. We love it. And so I think, because of that, I think the whole positivity kind of reflects to the environment, and we, rather than being disillusioned that, oh my God, what's going to happen? We have to make good causes that things will happen, right?
Yes. And we don't know what's going to happen. We just know that we are coming into a new COVID society. Again, we're supposed to wear masks, everybody. Please wear a mask when you walk out the door.
Yes.
Be considerate to others. The reason you're wearing a mask is really not for yourself, but it's for others. It's to make sure that you are not giving anything that you have and you are not getting anything that someone else has. When two people are together and you're wearing a mask, there's only a 1.5% chance of transferring any kind of virus at all. So that is very, very important. I'm so happy to learn more about Buddhism. And you guys, I might start practicing just a little bit. I heard there's like a passive.
Yeah, we have a passive. Ruby,
practice.
you're a celebrity of Dallas, so we have a lot of celebrities actually practicing.
So
this.
as I learn a little bit,
Yeah.
as I keep learning a little bit, I'll put up some posts about the Buddhism things that I've learned and how to be a better person, and how I learn my heart and my soul, and I learn what's in my mind, because I think the human greed has caused global warming, wildfires, floods, droughts. Now, COVID-19 and other mutations can happen. And so this is our chance to make our world cleaner and a better place. This is also our time that's very slow for the entire world, so you're not really missing out. Italy's not getting ahead of us. India's not getting ahead of us. England is not getting ahead of us. Everyone is at the same level. We are all in the same place together. We are in this together, and it will be a wonderful, wonderful experience if we can all live together, love together, and make our environment more beautiful and be more considerate towards our environment. And this is something now I'm going to learn some more from our Buddhists, how to do that, how to bring our environment and our situations together. And make it a beautiful place.
And everything is us. It's I first before, we have to do it. I have to do it first before I expect anybody else to do it.
And it's that pass it on sort of a...
Yeah, so when I do it, then I can pass it on to my son. If I don't do it, my son will be like, Mom, you're not doing it, right? So why would I want to learn anything from you? So it's all about that you have to take the first step. I have to take the first step. Sorry.
Practice what you preach.
Yes, exactly.
So I want to thank all of you for being on. And I am so excited to have both of you here. I hope you guys learned something amazing, because I did. And just the last few days talking to you has been such an eye-opener. And I just feel so good about what you guys are doing in chanting. And please chant for me and all of us and everybody who was on.
Everybody.
And you guys, thank you for being on. Thank you. And we will see you next week with a very well-known makeup artist. It's going to be actually this week on Thursday at 5 o'clock with Vanita Patel, makeup artist, who is going to talk to us about, we're going to be doing lots of masks and we're going to do lots of eye makeup.
I need to learn that.
Yeah, so it's going to be about hair,
no more red
and eye
lipstick,
makeup.
It's all about eyes now.
All right, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for tuning in. And Vanita Patel, we will see you Thursday at 5 o'clock. You guys stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Bye.